Okay, now the recording is also on, the sound is also on. So you will have a recording for your reference. And as you're watching, if you have any questions, you can stop me anytime and you can ask me, that way you will also have a very clear understanding step by step. Okay, now um what I do is generally when I'm doing the overall picture, I have the whole picture to refer from. When I'm doing the shading, after doing the drawing complete, when I'm doing the shading, I enlarge the picture. Now we refer to the laptop screen or things like that. Earlier we used to be having a printout. So when I'm doing a printout, I will have only that area open. I'll have a window cut out and I'll have only that area open so that I don't have any distraction. Now that's a method of having a concentrated look at things. Anyway, now I'm going to do this petal. When I'm doing a drawing, my hold will be like that, like what we write. Okay. This is a small area, so I use my fingers and my wrist. But if I'm going to take a line from here, I would keep my paper here firmly, hold it firmly like that with one hand, and I will move my hand in such a way that my wrist and my fingers don't move. So that is a matured line. We call that a matured line, a trained person looking at your work will understand what standard of practice you have. That's one thing about art. The way people will respect you is based on the maturity you have. Like any learning, it's the maturity. How much have you practiced, how much have you learned, and what kind of an expertise you have. That's maturity. So that is the reason why we hold the pencil in a certain way for a certain effect. Okay, so now here when I'm shading, I'm slanting my pencil like that. This is a 2B pencil that I'm using because I don't want it to be very dark, I don't want it to be very light. Here, now here you can see that I'm taking a directional stroke. I'm going along with the veins of the flower. The petal veins, there'll be small lines, whether it's going to be a leaf or a petal or even a branch, there'll be tiny lines moving along the outer line. Okay, so I'm moving along that, and sometimes, like when I come here, when I'm merging, I take circular lines. Can you see? I take circular lines like that, very light. I hold my pencil like that so that the weight of the pencil doesn't fall on the paper. I'm balancing it. When I want it to be dark, I will turn my hand like that, slightly. When I want it to be light, I'll turn my hand like that. That comes with practice, of course, but you have to be conscious. Did you notice here the background is light, this petal is dark here, the background is dark. I'm making this darker and merging both these. Yeah, that's how we do it, merging. But there will be a slight difference between this petal and that petal as far as the shading is concerned. We give shading so that the lines disappear. We have a drawing here. I do shading in such a way that the line will disappear. And my lines are going with the outline of the petal. Mm, what we can do is we'll have to choose. Like we can't follow the photograph completely. Let's manage this petal. See, we don't want this area to be very dark. We'll get this area to be dark. I'm not going till the edge. When I go to the edge, I make it light. The background I can make dark. So what do we have when we are drawing? We have lines to create the shape, and we have light and shade, grading to create the form. Only with light and shade you create the three-dimensional form. And we have color, that's a totally different story. When we have black and white, we have line, we have gradation. So, when an object is light, when we want that to be prominent, when the object is light, we want the background to be slightly darker. When the object is dark, we want the background to be slightly lighter. That is how good pictures will look. Like when we are looking at something, we are attracted towards that. Say a rose on a plant, rose plant, there is a rose that is blooming. There will be 10 roses, there will be 1 or 2 roses which attract you most. That will be because there will be a contrast there. If the flower will be light, the background will be dark. Or the flower will be dark, the background will be light. If both of them are almost the same, it won't be very attractive. So that is what we have to bring when we are doing our artworks. The background will automatically become light or dark depending upon what subject we are managing. And I am going to bring this up like that, and as it goes up it becomes lighter. Let us plan how to manage that area later. Okay, so I have done that. I take a circular stroke, and when I come to the edge, I make it lighter. I make it lighter. Here I start giving the stroke which goes with the petal. With the petal, like that. It looks as if I am just drawing lines, but I am being very, very careful about how dark and how light the lines are seen. When we want it to be dark, we don't have to press it and make it dark immediately. We can go over the same part several times and make it darker. That is better because we'll have a better control. I'll just do a little bit here and bring it closer and show you how my lines are visible. I'm deliberately leaving the lines visible everywhere so that it look as if the petal's texture is also very clearly drawn. We are actually doing light and shade, but we are also giving the direction of the petal. Let me complete this area and show it you closer. We have to be as careful as possible, yes, but to have freedom, we should not be afraid of mistakes. If we are afraid of mistakes and we are very careful, maybe our freedom will be lost. Like moving like that, I'm moving my pencil up and down and also turning the lines. From here, I'm turning the lines like that. Like that to like that. That's how this will start turning. To have that freedom, sometimes, see, one line went there, went out of the petal. I should know how to correct it. So how will you learn to correct? You have to correct yourself. That's the way you learn how to correct. The only way to correct yourself is to be bold and make a mistake and then correct. Without making a mistake, you can't correct.
Yeah, we can't
So,
learn.
yeah, so making a mistake, not deliberately, taking a freedom and let me try this. I haven't tried this, but let me try this like this. It goes wrong, okay, I can correct it. If I try it this way, so having a teacher, the advantage is you don't have to try it yourself. You can learn from your teacher. I have made the mistake and I have learned and I'm teaching you. That's the advantage you have. So we should only be attempting to get our result. There is methodology, yes. The methodology is very important. Uh, like other philosophies that we talk about, means and ends. Like we talk about that very much. Is the is all is good that all's well that ends well. Ends justify the means and all those things they say. And there are some people who say, no, your means have to be good as well as the ends. It's not always possible. See, that petal is coming out. Let me just bring the whole thing closer and show you. Is it in focus? Yeah. Can you see the lines? In the big petal, now like in this petal and this petal, how it is manipulated. The edge is having a slight light. Okay, so now I made this dark. I made this petal dark. So what I'll do is, I'll go like this. I'll make the center slightly dark and I will come down and make the end, the edge of the petal slightly light. And from here it becomes dark and merges out. You get my point, right?
Right.
Now I'm trying to get this petal out by making this slightly dark. We don't want it to be very different, because it's a tender petaled flower, so we don't want it to be very dark anywhere. One or two places it can be dark, but that also we'll have to plan very carefully. Okay, now what I have to do is I have to make this dark because I want this to be light. I want to make that dark, but it suddenly disappears. The darkness suddenly disappears. I'm going to make the top dark and bring it lower. So the $1,000,000 question would be, how do I know where to make it dark and where to make it light, right? You take a picture that you like, you start doing it, and you practice with that and see. If you make a mistake, you won't make that mistake again. If it comes out well, you can follow that technique again. Now I'm going to make that slightly dark. See how well that area has set. Now I want it to be this dark somewhere here and somewhere here. That is what is distributing elements. When we are doing color, we distribute colors. When we are doing black and white, we distribute light and dark. Not very obviously. This looks natural. It can be slightly darker here. And suddenly, if it disappears suddenly, it will look odd. So what we do is not a sudden disappearance, but gradual disappearance. Okay, we'll come to this part. Uh, Here we have a little more liberty because I can make this part dark. I better keep it down. The background is going to be light because we have the moon there. So I can make this slightly dark, but I don't want it to come and end here with the same tone. So I have to make that tone slightly lighter. Uh, if you look at this flower and the reference flower, uh, you look at the reference flower and put it away, and then look at my drawing separately, you might think both of them are same. But when you compare them both, there will be so many differences, which are deliberately done. That flower is beautiful, yes. Nature makes it very nice. We can't compete with nature and all those things. But there are certain things that I want to be seen in my work, which is not in the original. See, I made this part slightly light. Okay, it's dark here, it's light here. So I'm going to make this part slightly darker so that we call it relief. To give this a relief, there is a small fold out there that can be dark. I think we can make this part quite dark. We'll see. Do you think you are learning something or you're getting bored?
No, so actually, I'm observing your hand. How
Oh, okay.
frequently you're changing the movements. I
Yeah,
feel
yeah, that is the thing, no? I don't even think when the drawing tells my eye what is needed, and my hand automatically obeys.
okay.
That comes with practice, of course. You have to practice that over and over again to get that. Uh, just as I was saying, the advantage you have is you have a teacher who is doing that and tells you try this. In case you don't like it, I might give you another choice. Uh, so the techniques are easy for you to learn.
Well, there's so
Yeah.
many things to learn.
Pardon?
There's so many things to learn which I don't know.
Yeah, it will automatically come. Actually, the more you do, the more you learn. Now I'm going to make that light. I'm going to make that edge slightly darker.
The small things made the flower more beautiful.
Yeah. Little turn here, little turn there makes it interesting. The more interest it can create. When people ask what is a good painting, a good painting is one which keeps your attention for a long time. You know, see, there is so much happening here. That is what is making this interesting. When the theory part of art, there is a theory part to anything, philosophy. Not just philosophy, it's a scientific approach to art. Uh, we call the the lines, the light and shade, so on and so forth, as elements, elements of art. So when we start with elements, where do we start? We take a pencil and keep it on the paper. That's where we start, right? So when we keep it on the paper, what we are doing, we are creating a dot. That is where we start. We start our drawing with any art with a dot. So the dots join together, growing in one direction. When they join together, they grow. So if they are growing in one direction, we call it a line. We call it a line. We call it the linear growth, line growth. So any line has the beginning and has an end. You can, I hope my talking is not disturbing your watching.
No, no, not at all.
Yeah, so the only problem is when I come to a difficult part, my talking will stop. Uh, so, a line has two ends, the beginning and the end. We call them the loose ends. So we bring the loose ends together. Uh, that is a, let me see, okay. So that is a line, I have to be very light. So that is a line like that. There are two ends, loose ends. We bring both the ends together. Now we say, okay, that is a paper. That's the space that we have. We bring these together here. And I take this here and I bring this. So the line gets bent like that. So here the line was present in that space. Probably you have above the line and below the line. Now, when you see that, you will say, I have a line there. And there is a paper that is above and below. When you look at that, you call it a circle or square, whatever space you have, whatever shape you have created. This is 2D. This is inside, that is outside. Again, the same space remains. But you forget this space and you're concentrating only on that space. Isn't it? Isn't that strange? Now, look, we just say, you ask somebody, you draw a circle, and ask somebody, what is this? They won't say there is a rectangular paper and there is a line which is creating a circle. They'll just say it's a circle. This is completely forgotten. So, when a shape is created, we have a positive space and a negative space. So that's exactly what we are playing with. Here we are playing with positive space and a negative space. Okay, now we know that there is a thing called dot, and the dots create a line, and the line come together to create a shape. A shape is two-dimensional. Yeah, a shape is two-dimensional. When we say a shape is two-dimensional, if that is all there is to it, then we won't be calling it two-dimensional. We just say that's a shape, finished. But when we say it's two-dimensional, which means that there is more. Three-dimensional, yes, there is no such thing as four-dimension. Fourth dimension is a totally different philosophy. Third dimension happens when there is light and shade. Only when there is light and shade, only when we create a light and shade to a drawing, the object that we have drawn, we create light and shade, we get a third dimension. We call that a form. Okay. Up to now we are talking about black and white. So when we create a, see this has become dark, so I'm planning, instead of making that light, I'll make some of these areas slightly darker. Uh, so to create light and shade, huh? Light and shade means light means white to the when it's extreme. Shade means when it's extreme it is black. In between we have gray. Okay, so we call that gray scale. So from white to very light gray to light gray to gray to slight dark gray to gray to dark gray, and we go to black. Okay, so grayscale is what is creating dimension. So balance of grayscale is very, very important. That's the reason why I'm making this dark. This was very dark. Now suddenly this became dark. Because this had to be dark. This was dark. I brought it slightly darker. This has to become darker. Now I have to make some of these things darker to bring a balance. So we call this elements of art and design. Dot to line to shape to form. To create a form we use texture. Texture can be these lines. Now, like what I'm doing, I'm creating lines to create light and shade. Texture can be that. Texture can be dots. We call that stippling. Okay, the word is stippling. I'm not writing it down, but if you can write it down, it will be a good idea. Let me put on the date today. Today is the 3rd. Okay, so I'm going to the bud. Once we do the bud, the leaves are going to be pretty easy. The reason is there will be more texture on the leaves than on the flower. The flower is a light, as it is white or pink, so it has to be very light. But the leaves can be slightly dark. See, when I'm doing the stem, how fast I can go. Because slight variation will make it look interesting enough. Yeah, but when I come to the sepals, again they have to move in a certain direction. So when you have a three-dimensional form, if it has a texture, the texture moves in a certain direction which enhances the form. Okay, so we say dot, line, shape, loose ends shape, and then we went to texture, which is light and shade, to create a form. Okay, is that all? We have color. Color is such a large area of study that it's a never-ending study. Like so much to it. There is art part of it. There is, and there is. Okay, now that's art part of it. There is science part of it. Science part we won't go in. Now we have to decide: should we start the dark from out or from below? Let's start the dark from above. Okay, let the whole thing be dark. We'll start dark from above. Can you see I'm moving? That's a cone, huh? That's a cone, so I'm moving it like that. All lines are going to the tip of that particular petal, and as I'm coming down, my lines are becoming lighter. Okay, let's see. We'll do this. We'll go to this part and decide on what to do here. Okay. When I'm doing it, looks so simple, you know.
It looks simple.
Yeah, like they keep doing that and it comes. Uh, it's not actually that easy. Uh, so I'm doing it fast. You have to do it slow. Like when you're doing it, what you will have to do is you'll have to do that, take the pencil off, draw, take the pencil off, draw. But I'm just taking it half a millimeter away. When I'm doing that, when I go back, I have taken it half a millimeter away. So I do it so fast, it looks as if I'm going up and down. No, I'm just going from that end to down. Can you see what I'm doing now? I'm just taking it and only one side line from up to down. Okay, so if you keep doing it carefully and get the right effect, second drawing, third drawing, fourth drawing, without you knowing it, your hand will move freely. But you should be consciously doing it right. The background is going to have a gray, so I am making this. Actually, I was planning to have this as light so that the background is going to be gray, so this will look good. But மழை தூர ஆரம்பிச்சிச்சு, ரெண்டும் உள்ள வந்துச்சுல. It automatically opens up. The lines, here it comes like that, here it comes at an angle, goes out, there it goes up. So it automatically turns. as I am doing, it automatically turns. Initially, you have to be consciously doing that. If you go to my Facebook page, I don't know if you go to Facebook. If you go to my Facebook page, there will be one watercolor painting of lotuses, one or two watercolor paintings of lotus. Have you seen that? With lines, thin lines. So that that basis is on this. Uh, okay, whenever we are drawing, painting, we try not to show how difficult it was, how hard it was to do this. How did we do this? They just see, okay, oh, nice, very nice, that's it. It should not be clear. Art is in concealing art. We hide how we did it, not deliberately, automatically. Okay, what I'm going to do now is before coming to this, I'm going to make the background slightly grayish. I'm going to leave uh, the moon, and I can actually go around the moon and have these strokes going out in circles, or I can go diagonally. I think I'll just go in circles. But I'm not going to have curved lines, I'm going to have short straight lines. And I'm not going to go till the end, I'm just going to leave it out here. It fades away. You'll have to tell me when you have to leave, huh?
Mm.
We try not to have patchy grace. Huh? When we're doing the shading, we try to avoid patchiness as much as possible. If there is a patch, there is a small dark dot out there. Can you see?
Yeah.
So what I would do is I take the pencil, I would shade around that dark and make that dark disappear. Instead of I can take an eraser and take it off, but this is also a way of doing it. We make the lines disappear. The drawing that we did, in some places we need the drawing to show, in most places we don't want the drawing to show. Uh, in nature, we don't have lines. We do not have lines in nature. There is a line out here, as you can see. That is because this is light and that is dark. We create lines. But lines are a comparative term. A 1 inch thick, 3 feet long band can be a line if you see that from 15 feet away. This line, if you take a magnifying glass and look at this line, it will become a band. So it's a comparative term. Uh, so how we use those lines, how thick should they be, how dark or light should they be, depends upon what you are representing. See, the line that we had for the moon has disappeared, and because of light and shade, we have this doesn't this doesn't seem to have a dimension. This has a dimension. That has a dimension. No, it looks, because of texture, it has a dimension. Though this does not have a dimension, because there is no light and shade, we still feel it's a solid form. That psychologically, because of the background shading that we give, we make it feel as if it's a solid form. Okay, now I have to go to the leaf. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make that part very dark, that part very dark. I don't want any direction, so I'm taking circular lines, circular shading. The edges can be slightly, very slightly broken if we have a clear control over what we are doing. But if you don't want it to have a broken edge, that too is fine. Depends upon what you're going to do overall. If I have a broken edge, it is a little intimidating because it has to have broken all the leaves have to have broken edge all over. Okay, so now let's see, we'll make this part light. Huh? Can you see that drawing, that part light? So I give a darker background. Okay, the backing is dark. Let me see how far it has to go. The edge has to be light. Huh? Edge has to be light or dark. We'll make it light. I'm making a circular shading. I don't want directional shading in this place at least. I'm making it darker than the background, but like that. As if it is slightly turned. It gets a, because of light and shade, it gets a dimension. I think I'll make this dark, so even if it comes inside, I don't mind. I'm going to take a 6B or 8B pencil. Mm, so my filling can be fast. Some places I do straight line shading, in some places I do circular line shading. Uh, there is no formula. Huh? There is no formula. It depends upon what you want in that place. So you see that I used both these things, but why I use that, the judgment is yours. Because there's no way I can teach you exactly why I am doing that. This is what I mean by circular shading, circular line shading. Huh? We'll complete this and then go to the top area. Huh? The transition, now this is light. This part is light. It comes like that. And the transition happens here. Whatever happens, do it. Okay? If it is not right, we will find out. No, if you don't do it, if you keep thinking what to do, that hesitation will show in your drawing. So just do it. If it is what we like, well and good. If it's not what we like, we'll find a way to correct it later, not now, later. do you see the dimension that happened within no time?
Very fast.
Pardon?
It's done very fast and it
Yeah,
looks
yeah, yeah. Compared to the petals,
yeah.
which was taking so much time, that is because the texture here is changing in large spaces. There it was, see, the petals were very small. Here the leaf spaces are so big, we can move our pencil fast. Sometimes some artists, now like if you go to YouTube and see, you can see some artists doing stretching paper on walls, like 5 6 feet tall papers, and doing large drawings 10 feet wide and all. It's frightening. It is frightening. It's not easy. I'm not saying it's easy. But that too will take maybe, say, this paper and that paper will be 50 times bigger. That paper will be 50 times bigger than this. But only if this takes 1 hour, maybe that will take 4 hours, not 50 hours. Very often, students who keep working with me, very often they ask like, how do you decide where to keep the dark and where to keep the light in a situation like this? When there are forms which are very clear, like cup and saucer or a box and things like that, light is coming from there. But something that is moving like this, how do you decide where you keep the light and shade? You decide, start doing, and see it is nice. You start following it in other pictures too. And you see that it's not nice, you stop following that in other pictures. That's all. It's just trial and error method, like there is no very clear logic to it.
Even I'm thinking.
You're thinking of that, okay. See, here, what I'm doing is, I'm getting a shadow on the, see, this is coming up. Huh? This is going down, obviously. This is coming up. So on the right, I'm giving a darker shade. Yeah. On the right, I'm giving a shade and making it fade out as it goes in. I'm going to give a shade here because I want that to be slightly lighter. So the picture itself, once you have started, the picture itself will start telling you what to do. If it doesn't work, then you decide on doing something else. You have to learn to merge light and shade. Later, you'll have to learn to merge colors. Uh, and it should not look mechanical. It should look as if, like what you see in nature. It happens gradually and effortlessly. Just that's what we call as it happens naturally. See, as I'm doing this, the pencil gets flat in one area, it gets sharp in one area. So I keep turning the pencil to get that surface. Now I want the flat surface so that I can do circles and get a merging. So I
That
turn like that. Pardon?
we from starting. How you are moving your hand so frequently?
Yeah, like that that can't be sort of, you can't think and do.
Yeah, yeah.
It comes with practice. Now, like the cricket bowlers, the spin bowlers will be, when they do one kind of a spin and the batsman hits it bad, he bowls that again and he hits it bad. And the third time, what he does is he gives a googly. Like he makes it look as if he's doing the same thing again, but he's doing something opposite. That he can't think and do. If he thinks and do, his action will show that he's doing that. The batsman will get ready. So it's like that, na here. That's what they mean by saying practice makes perfect. In the sense, like the more you do, you know without even thinking that this is how it should be. And you have a facility, you have become an expert in one thing, you can use that expertise and keep doing something which is there and boldly try new things. Without expertise you can't try new things. I'm just going to make this sort of flat out here. This is one corner, nobody's going to notice, but if you make a mistake here, that's the only thing everybody will see. So in places like this, you have to be very careful. Okay, almost done. No? So go with the form. I wanted to go and become light there because this I'm going to make dark. Huh? Uh, when I when I just removed the uh, bandage yesterday, last night, and I was like afraid. Will I be able to move my hands today? Luckily, no pain. Luckily, no pain. No, no, it's not stiff even.
Yeah, that angiography is
Yeah, but that was terrible. Everybody said angio is so easy, nothing, you won't feel in. Oh my God, it was really tough.
so
Meaning, it wasn't painful, but you could feel the probe going into your shoulder, going into your heart, and the way they pull it out is shick. They pull it out like that. From the heart, it comes out to the shoulder, and from the shoulder, it just slips out.
yeah.
Once it is done, okay, fine.
Some tests are very
Pardon?
difficult. Some tests
Ah.
very difficult.
Yeah, yeah, sometimes are very difficult, yeah. See, the CT scan, you're not going to be doing anything, you're just going to be lying down. MRI, yeah? Yeah, MRI. Oh my God, you're going inside a machine, you know?
Oh, actually, doctor told me to do that also. I'm just
Oh.
postponing it.
See, it gives a wonderful idea about what problem we have, and it's easy to give a thing, but when it's happening, it's you're lying down, and you're always used to having a pillow under your head when you're lying down. When they make you lie down here, they make you keep your head down. When you have your head down, and a huge machine is going like one electric train wheel
Sound.
going around. Like, it's not that comfortable. But nothing's going to go wrong because it's such a strong machine. It's such a strong machine, and it's been tried out so many times. It's sturdy. You don't have to worry about that. All that you know, but still, it's not easy.
The experience is not good.
Uh-huh.
Our experience will be different.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, now, a lot of people were telling me, oh, it's so easy, you don't have to worry. They don't give anesthetic. Or maybe they apply an anesthetic, topical anesthetic on the skin, and it helps a little bit. But you can feel it go inside. Inside your body, it is inside, and it's slightly painful. Slightly, not very painful, but slightly painful. MRI and CT scan are not at all painful because there's nothing that they are, no invasiveness, no, it's just a radiation. But those huge machines going around your head, 2500 rotations per minute. And if you have read about it, you know it is 2500 or whatever.
Yeah, yeah, I've seen my mother went through all these things.
Okay, almost over. This is the, see, that had to be very smooth. This didn't have to be smooth. That was the advantage we have with this, you know. So when you make a mistake like that, quickly correct it instead of erasing it. Quickly draw something there and make it look as if nothing has happened there, nothing has gone wrong there.
The picture looks so good.
Yeah, it looks as if it's what very well planned. Of course, it is very well planned and executed. That is the thing that we have to get when we are planning a work like this. It has to look professional. Here, because of the veins and the texture on the leaf, a slight variation in the strokes, no, not a smooth stroking, helps make the look leaf realistic. With a circular motion, it's easier to control the texture. Huh? With a linear motion, no, lines, it's easier to control the direction of the shading. The shading is moving from here to there. It's becoming lighter from there to here. Here, it's done to get a patchy effect. You know, like it's dark here, and we can also smoothen it out. No, it need not be ugly patchy, but controlled patchy.
Had your lunch?
Lunch, no, like we have our lunch by 2:30,
Oh,
sometimes even 3. Like we have our breakfast late, around 10:15. Uh, and lunch also gets delayed. Dinner also 10:30 or so. 10:30, which has become a routine. You had your lunch. You just came back. No, you haven't had your lunch.
no, no, I'll have it my son. He'll come at 3 o'clock.
Oh, you usually have it at 3 o'clock, is it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, okay. Uh, After drawing the veins on the leaves, because I'm giving shadow after that, there is a little bit of light that I'm leaving off near the veins, which is giving the veins a nice 3D. Here I completed and then did the vein.
Mm.
So I'm just thinking a little bit of shading out there would help. Let me see. Let me just a little bit, 10 minutes. Your son should be there, no? Anytime. Like, and let me just give a little bit of shading here and there.
It's more. He's also very interested
In
in.
art, okay, okay. So maybe when he's around, we should have a class.
Yeah. So,
We don't have to go all over. Some places we
yeah,
should, no?
in one place, that is the problem.
Okay, so done, huh? The picture looks complete, right? Let me make this leaf a little bit dark. Okay, there is so much we can do. We can have more leaves, but for now, this one will stop here. So next class, we will start with the proportions for the portrait. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to sign it here. I'll sign it here. Okay. Or should I sign it here? I think I'll sign it here like this. Okay, finally completed. Okay, I'll send a photograph of this and I will also send the recording.
Yeah.
Okay?
How I should draw the shadings.
Pardon?
I'm thinking how I should draw the shadings.
No, no. Uh, the trick is one at a time, one petal at a time. Drawing, you keep going, complete it, see the composition is nice. Okay, fine. This is the composition. Uh, See, if you ask me to do this thing again, even I will not be able to do it like this. It will be slightly different. So yours, it should have the ambience. There is a full blown light lotus flower, there is one bud, and there's a moon out there and dark leaves. If you get that, fine. It need not be like this. There can be a variation. That's the trick. So go one at a time.
Okay.
Okay? Okay. Okay, then see you. All the best.
Okay. We'll have a class on Wednesday.